earlier than the Middle Agers were given episcopal rank. They're not bishops, but they were given episcopal rank, and so that's the reason why the abbot, wears episcopal, can put on episcopal garments such as the mitre and wearing the zucchetto, the little skull cap that they wear. So I hope that's sufficient to tell you what an abbot. But the word abbot itself means Abba, comes from Abba, Father, and sort of an aside. I remember had the opportunity as an abbot to go to the Holy Land, and that term Abba struck me because we had this driver who was a tourist guide for us, and he was Catholic, and but it was interesting. A couple of days, his son rode the bus with us, and his father took care of him. I can still hear the little boy calling Abba, Abba, speaking to his daddy. Yeah, so the word that's used in the scriptures in that sense was very much alive for me, and that's one of those important moments to see, that term used with our Father, which we said at the beginning here, is also very much alive in the Jewish people, among the Jewish people, and it struck me then. It just really did. But again, that's one of those. If you were talking about miracles, that's one of the miracles I think of living in the community, the monastic community, opportunities that have come to me as a result of being the abbot. The opportunity to travel to the Holy Land and to celebrate Mass at the birthplace of the Christ in Bethlehem. I was asked to be the main celebrant at that time, and it was a pretty significant moment. Another time that it struck me quite was when I got the opportunity and were able to go to Subiaco, which is a monastery that St. Benedict founded, the first one, and then Monte Cassino, but Subiaco, and to be able to say Mass in the cave of St. Benedict, where he was when he was living on the mountainside in a cave by himself as a hermit, and so those kinds of things, So I think they sometimes describe them as close moments, but moments of a certain sense enlightenment, and just a realization of roots and the source of things. So I think those things prove to be, very memorable, and so I think those are just good things.
So tell the listeners a little bit about your bio or your background. Or we're here in I always pronounce it wrong. St. Florian, Alabama. So maybe tell the listeners a little bit about your background.
Well, I guess the first miracle is my birth. I was born into this world, into a very Catholic family, a family that faith was very much alive, and a lot of things you see in hindsight, not in the moment, but the sacrifices that parents make, and there were 6 of us. I was the 5th of 6 children, and the sacrifices my parents made to make sure that we got Catholic education, and that was an important element in my life. First 8 years, you might say, because we were bused by the whole family at one time. All 6 of us were getting on the Greyhound bus and traveling about 35 miles to Chattanooga, Tennessee, from Cleveland, and in order that we might have a Catholic education. And I know that was a big sacrifice on financially, and just in many ways. And then my oldest brother and my youngest sister, they both were able to graduate from this school called Notre Dame Grade School and High School at the time, and somewhere between the others, they were able to. They pulled back and were put in public school. But myself, I went through the 1st through 8th grade at this Notre Dame Grade School in Chattanooga, taught by the Dominicans that are in Nashville, and they were very good in terms of imparting the faith, and by word and example, and the religious sisters were, and I think still an important part of the faith of the Catholic Church, and I think we just need to pray for vocations to the priesthood and religious life. Religious life, I think, encompasses all. And so anyhow, I went to school there, and then it's sort of fuzzy to me how I came down to St. Bernard as a boy in high school, 13 years old, and was enrolled at St. Bernard in a certain sense even before I knew it. But I'd always sort of had an aspiration or say that I wanted to be a priest, etc., etc. But we also had contact with the Benedictines from Alabama, because they would come and help in the parish, especially at Christmas times and at Easter, things like that, helping with confessions and all. So those were, the Benedictines were important in my life.